Another year gone, another chance for me to take out the trash. Because if I want to end this year off with a bang, first I gotta take care of some garbage that's accumulated over the past 12 months. But more importantly, as always, let's just have some fun as I tear these suckers down one more time. And before I get to number 10, here are some dishonorable mentions. Shadow Force, Flight Risk, the SpongeBob movie Search for More Money, Die My Love, and Fountain of Youth. Congratulations to all these movies for just missing the top 10. You are all bad in some way, shape, or form, but I'd easily rather watch you all in the loop than watch any of the following movies ever again. Let's just get this over so I can watch my Supreme already. The Amateur. The title sure is accurate because of how amateurishly generic this whole thing felt. It's almost like they pitched the script to 20th Century Studios who glanced at it like, wow, that wasn't the most cliched spy movie we've ever read. But hey, let's just get Mr. Robot and Morpheus on here and maybe people won't notice. Did it work? Better than it should have, that's for sure. Love Hurts. That title sure is accurate because so does this movie. This movie had one job, to capitalize on Kiwi Kwan's resurgence as an actor by giving him his own starring role. But even he can't save this movie from being a complete mess. The action made me feel nothing for a supposed action film, the chemistry between him and Ariana DeBose is non-existent for a supposed romantic film, and the fact that this is the first and not last time this guy's appearing on this list just tells me that Hollywood just doesn't know what to do with him at the time. Fight or Flight. The title sure is accurate because I don't have a punchline for this. This movie was bad when it first started, and it just got worse the more it goes along. It tried to be Bullet Train for planes, but it ended up being a 99-cent Bullet Train. The characters sucked, the writing sucked, the comedy sucked, and it all just stops right in the middle of it like we're gonna get a sequel to this nonsense, which, no, it's not gonna happen. And right in the middle of Oscar season, James L. Brooks thought he had one more go at proving he's more than just a Simpsons guy nowadays. But now it's like that's all he'll ever be known for the better half of a century. This movie had the makings of a good old-fashioned social comedy, but it was neither social nor comedic. It legit feels like they got an AI to write a James L. Brooks comedy as opposed to him writing it himself. When you look at the characters, the dialogue, the situations they go through. After watching this, I never want to see another James L. Brooks anything ever again, since his career might as well be over after this. Now, Jenny Tartowski, on the other hand, I do see redeeming himself because he has proven himself as of late with the likes of Samurai Jack and Primer, which I've heard good things about. But that doesn't take away from this being one of the biggest creative flukes of the year. I mean, this is just one joke throughout 85 minutes, dogs being horny bastards. It tries to go for some heart by throwing in this love triangle between the main dog, the girl he likes, and her pompous boyfriend, which... can you even guess where this goes? And if you do watch this movie, don't even bother making a drinking game for all these dog butthole shots. Your insides will end up like Yellow Jacket at the end of the first Ant-Man. When I was narrowing down the worst of the worst, I realized that these two movies suffer from the exact same problems, so I figured I'd just bundle them up into one number 5 spot. These two movies are the pure reason why people are under the impression that animation is for kids. Cause Hollywood keeps making these low-effort Cocomelon movies that do nothing but distract your kids for an hour and a half. Out of the two movies though, I think I hate Smurfs a little bit more solely because it represents Hollywood having no idea what to do with this property. Children deserve better. Just saying. Russos, do you know how lucky you are that Marvel still vouched for you? Because at this point, those Avengers movies might as well be all they're good for. As is, this is the epitome of everything wrong with movies today. $320 million and they couldn't even use it on characters that aren't soul archetypes. A story that's faithful to the original book past face value, good camera work, good production design, or good effects. It's at this point where you wonder why Netflix didn't just pull a Zaslav and scrap this as a massive tax write-off. It's times like these where people are under the impression that Hollywood is out of ideas, which, as I was covering in my Best of the Year video, is complete malarkey. But when you have a movie that's just Toy Story with shoes, except with none of the charm, that's when you start to temporarily sympathize with those people. Top it off with flat voice acting, sloppy animation, and egregious puns, and you got a complete WTF of an experience. You know, most people go to see a movie for the sole purpose of distracting them from the real world, not to remind them of it. This one was just depressing to sit through, especially when it's just nothing but Joaquin Phoenix wandering around this town that slowly goes to shit throughout 2020. And unlike something like Civil War, which serves as a warning against political divide and its ramifications, this is just 2.5 hours of grandpa rambling on about how bad the world is while somehow saying nothing about it. If I wanted to be reminded of how bad real life is, I just watch the news. Of course you all know what my number one is. I mean, as a huge fan of Roald Dahl, this one broke me in every conceivable level. My number one worst film of the year is Charlotte and the Chocolate Factory. It was already bad enough that this guy had to make a completely new story out of the original book with copyrighted characters who had nothing to do with it, but he also had to make that 2-hour reading where he can't even act to save his life. It's no wonder why he stopped doing these under only 2 videos. I am of course joking. The real number one is way worse than that. When I first did that video on why the Twitch was a reprehensible disaster, for some reason I thought I was going to be in the minority of despising this as much as I did. But as it turns out, my video was one of about a dozen of sharing the same opinion on this failing as both an adaptation and as a movie on of itself. How it disregards the simple story of animals overthrowing these 2 morally oppressive humans in favor of a stupid plot involving theme parks and election and orphans. And the only thing more disgusting than the animation is what's beneath. Whether it be the trade morals, disregard for everything Roald Dahl's book stood for, or that whole diarrhea bit with the mayor's exploding ass. That entire scene pretty much sums up this entire movie and why it's the worst of the entire year. It's not quite Sandy Cheeks abominable, but it's easily the worst experience I ever had to sit through. But probably only because I stayed far away from the weekend's fever dream.